Hello, everybody. We've had a fire conference so far. I have taken some great notes. I hope you all have too. And I'm going to get straight to it. I have so much to talk about regarding the entire virtual demo. Now, I sold in person for the first year and a half of my Cutco career. And when COVID hit and when I was told we had to go online, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of scared. I knew what was working for me. I was just starting to do really well in the scholarship contest. I was selling around school for the first time. I actually had a chance of winning my first scholarship while I was actually in school, not during the summer. But I said, let's freaking do it. My goals were too big at the time to let that stop me. I ended up placing second, then first, then third, and 3 straight All-Americans through only virtual demos, selling $200,000 in 220,000 in 2020 on almost completely virtual demos. It was my biggest year by far. And I learned that virtual demos are freaking awesome. For those of you who've done in-person demos and have also done virtual demos, they're just so much more efficient. It takes so much less time to do these demos, and the average order is pretty much the same. At the moment, I have my largest average order I've ever had at $700 and a closing percentage about 70 to 75%. Now, there's a little bit of differences. It's a little bit harder to retain attention over the phone, over virtually than it is in person, and it's a little harder to build a connection. But the focus shifts a little bit from getting the product into their hand to building social proof. Today, I'm going to teach you everything I have learned for the past year or so through trial by fire. I'm going to take you through my virtual demo and give you insights along the way. Now, before I get to the skills and the mindset, the most important thing I want to let you guys know is do not let Mrs. Jones do the demo on her phone. Do not let her. Do not let her do it on the go while she's going for a walk or doing something else. Imagine if you were doing a demo in person and Mrs. Jones like, yeah, let me do some work while you're doing your presentation. And she started doing work for her job. Could you imagine that? She would never do that in person. But virtually, the connection is just so easy to be just to turn your video off and to just go on a walk and multitask and not pay attention. And if she's not paying attention, there's no point even doing the demo. So if I ever see Mrs. Jones on her phone, I'm like, oh, Mrs. Jones, this demo is just so hard to see on the phone. I've had so many people complain about their eyesight after I share my screen. Can we pull it up on a computer or a tablet? Is that cool? And I always tell them on the phone beforehand, but that's just something first and foremost I want to let you guys know. Now, here's the first. Now I'm going to get into the mindset. Now, first, I want you to think in your head right now, what is the most important part of our job? It is getting referrals. If you ever wanted to quit Cutco for reasons other than pursuing your dreams, I can guarantee it has always stemmed from having no one to call, which again is never really the case, but it's the feeling that you have no one to call. If you have a string of no sales but have 20 baller referrals to call, are you going to feel bad? Yeah, it happens to everyone. I'm doing this 3 years so, and I've had 10 no sales in a row. It happens. But you have motivation to keep moving forward. Referrals are the key to this business, and almost every part of the demo is about referrals. Now, what is the main goal of every demo? It's not to make sales. It's not even to get referrals. It's to make a friend. If you make a friend, the sales and the referrals come naturally. You want to truly build a network of friends. And it starts from the beginning. The first part of your demo is not about rapport. It's about making a great first impression. This impression is everything. If they don't like you from the very beginning, they are so much less likely to be attentive. Again, it's so easy to lose attention on a virtual demo. They're less likely to be open to buying. They're less likely to be open to giving referrals. And there are a lot of parts to this impression. The first thing is, guys, dress to impress. When I did these demos in person, I always wore a shirt, button-down shirt, nice pants, and a tie. So when I went virtual, why would I change anything? Do not show up to your virtual demos in a t-shirt. If you don't show Mrs. Jones that you are going to take this seriously, why should she? Secondly, take the opportunity to truly get to know them. Don't just ask them what they do. Ask them how they got into it. Ask them what they do on a day-to-day basis. Do they like it? Where do they go to school? Where they went to school for it? What was their career path? Don't just ask them where they live. Ask them where they're from, about the neighborhood, what they like about it, what the kids like to do. Don't just ask them if they're married. Ask them how long. Ask them how they met. Hear the story. Take a genuine interest in Mrs. Jones. If you ever see them some of the people's biggest worries about asking so many questions is like, what if Mrs. Jones gets annoyed with me? And you can usually tell over the phone if someone's really busy and they mention like, oh yeah, I really got something I got to go to. And if you see that they really want to get started, it's so easy. My favorite line I like to say is, Mrs. Jones, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you were super busy with whatever they told you about, so we can get on started. It's that easy. And then get started. After rapport, the second part is not sharing your goals. It is shaping your story. It is building a following. Get your customers invested in your success. One of the biggest reasons I believe I've been so successful so far with demos is I share huge freaking goals. Not only do I share those goals, but I truly work my butt off to achieve them. Don't just share and set small goals. Set incredible goals. Set goals you aren't even sure you can achieve. We are in the greatest opportunity for college students and young people to change the trajectory of our lives. Take advantage of it. You might just be able to inspire yourself, but you will definitely inspire your customers. Now, let me preface this by saying, do not lie. If you are going to share a goal, you must commit to it. You must truly work toward it. And also something that's really advantageous is share how Cutco is going to help you achieve those goals. Now, let me share with you guys my personal website so I can show you guys how I share my goals. Believe that will be this one. Boom. So this is my personal website. This is basically built on a Google Drive. My manager, J. Brad Britton, helped me get this started. And let me take you to my goals page. So as was mentioned earlier, I am competing on American Ninja Warrior this year, but I've been sharing this goal for the last 2 years because this has been my goal for a long, long time. And it's actually my oldest goal in my entire life. And I made that happen because, again, I'm working actually hard towards it. I'm not sharing a goal that I'm not truly trying to work towards. The next thing I share is that I want to be an aerospace engineer. I'm trying to work for SpaceX and be a part of the mission to Mars and beyond. And I share how Cutco is going to help me achieve this goal. Cutco has been a great opportunity to build the communication and presentation skills engineers aren't known for, as well as a great opportunity to network. I always ask Mrs. Jones if she knows any engineers. And if she does, I write them down. A little pro tip for you guys, take notes. Take notes while you're doing virtual demos on Mrs. Jones. If she mentions something about her knives, write it down. If she mentions something about her friends, write them down. If she mentions something about people she knows, write them down for referrals later. And when you share these goals as well, it's such a great opportunity to create a buying atmosphere. I don't know if you guys have ever had it before where you finish your demo and then you close on the homemaker or something and Mrs. Jones says, oh, no, I'm not going to buy that. I was just listening to help you out. And sometimes the person's just annoying and that happens. It's totally fine. But a lot of times it's just because a buying atmosphere was not created. When I shared my second goal about graduating college debt-free and wanting to finish #1 in the scholarship contest, it's great to share a sales goal. It's great to share not just the sales goal, but how many presentations it's going to take to get there. Always share as well how far you are away from the goal. It shows Mrs. Jones you're working towards it, and it also keeps you motivated. I found it really kept me motivated as I got closer and closer to the goal. One of my favorite lines to say after I share this is, yeah, so Mrs. Jones, if you can just pull out your biggest credit card and slap a $38,000 charge on it, we'll be all set. I can stop working for the next 2 months. We're good. And it's just a little funny line that always gets them laughing. But when you share this type of goal, it almost always makes Mrs. Jones want to find something she likes today. She wants to buy something because she wants to support you. She sees how hard you're working. Now, not every Mrs. Jones is going to feel this way, which is why it's very important that to do this right, you also have to remove the pressure. The line I like to use to do this, and this line will be hopefully emailed with all my scripts as well, is Mrs. Jones, I am not sharing any of these goals with you today to pressure you to buy anything from me. I would not even let you get anything from me today unless you love it, you would use it, and you can afford it. Is that fair? That last part, is that fair, at the end is so important to get confirmation. Now, here's the best part. My only goal today is just that you're so comfortable with me and confident with Cutco that you are comfortable enough introducing me to other nice people like you so I can keep working as hard as I want to. You have to bring referrals into the beginning of the demo. Get them invested in you and ready to give referrals. And after you finish this part, it is such a great opportunity to build social proof. This is my favorite part about my website. This is my gratitude page. This is everyone that has given me 10 referrals, become my sponsors, my double sponsors, and everyone that's purchased Cutco for me as well. Now, it's great to be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, who do you know? Do you know any of these sponsors? Do you know Sally? Do you know Aaron? Do you know Serene? And being able to show them those referrals later. But always, the people that I love to talk about is talk about your game changers. Talk about the people that have really helped you in your business so far. Even if you're just 2 weeks into doing Cutco, talk about the people that have introduced you to people and really opened up your network. For me, that's Lauren Dubbs and Margaret Meaningham. I will share this area that Lauren Dubbs and Margaret Meaningham last summer, Mrs. Jones, these people like introduced me to 25 people and like they single-handedly won me that scholarship contest. It was so freaking crazy. They're like my heroes. I always share that. And I always share my record breaker as well, Matt and Katie Rush, who introduced me to 71 people a few months ago. Now after that, and again, I'm taking notes on anyone they know, especially when I ask them who they know that's placed an order with me. Now this is huge. I'm planning on organizing this by city, so I don't show Mrs. Jones a bunch of people from around the country that they don't know. But when you figure out who they have, like, oh yeah, I know Peter Schmier, I know Serene Tuma. I'm writing that down, so when I'm showing her the sets later, I'm like, oh yeah, Peter got this ultimate set for me. Serene got that family set for me. And just being able to show that to them just builds the social proof that everyone's buying Cutco and that everyone's giving referrals. It really does change the game when they get that proof, because you usually do this in person where you show all the people that have helped you with sponsors. But when you can show this on here, it's been really huge for me for sure. Now this is when we get into my actual demo. I start off by showing the entire Cutco kitchen. Why? We're not just a knife company, guys. We're a whole freaking kitchen company. Don't forget that. If you aren't an expert on selling flatware, cookware, or gadgets, don't worry. If you intro them at the beginning, you at least have a chance of selling it. You'll get better at selling them over time. If you can sell flatware or cookware or gadgets 1 out of every 20, 50, or even 100 sales, it's going to boost your average order. Because you're going to get those people at the end that are like, you close them on the knives, and they're like, yeah, so what about that flatware and that cookware? You don't even have to put in the work because they were already looking for it beforehand. Now, I don't have time today, unfortunately, to go over my price comparison approach. But if you guys have any questions about that, feel free to go ahead and send that into the chat. And I go into my actual demo. Now, I also don't have time to go over everything about the online demo, about building value in Cutco as a company, as well as junk knives, as well as the forever guarantee. If you have any general questions on that, feel free to shoot them my way. But what I am going to cover is when you build value in Cutco as a company, in the product and the guarantee, you need to bring the freaking excitement. You always need to be more excited about Cutco than they are. You need to keep building and building and building the excitement until it peaks at the guarantee. You have to remember, we are the #1 American-made product in America. We are the top selling selling cutlery in North America. We are one of the only products in the world that has a freaking forever guarantee. Bringing that excitement to Mrs. Jones is so important virtually, where it's so easy for her to zone out. You have to work extra hard to keep her excited and with your voice and your hand motions. And throw in some jokes to keep things fun. If I have some time at the end, I'll tell you some jokes that I have as well. Now, let me get into names and uses, because this is where I believe I have truly, I feel like I do a really good job at as well. And because I know everyone does names and uses a little bit differently. Some people spend 2 minutes on every piece. Some people spend 30 seconds, 5 seconds. I personally like to spend and give 5 to 7 uses on every single piece. That's just me. But what I would recommend for all of you is have at least one money line that sets every piece apart in the homie set. I'm going to tell you mine. The paring knife is very simple. It's for all your small jobs in the air, never designed to be used on a cutting board. The trimmer. It is the most popular item in Cutco history. You'd probably imagine why. People use it every single day, all the time. The spatula spreader is something really unique to Cutco you cannot find anywhere else. The petite carver. People just love its versatility. The turning fork. It's the sharpest fork you will ever own. It can get a pickle out of the pickle jar, first try every time. The butcher knife. You don't want to use other knives on those heavy-duty jobs that are going to damage and dull them really quickly. The chef knife. This is going to be your favorite knife. Everybody loves the chef knife. Everyone knows what a chef knife is. Now, after I show the chef knife and the butcher knife, I like to add this line in that Mrs. Jones, these two knives really work together to keep each other as sharp as possible for as long as possible. The bread knife. People just love how long and light this knife is. The carving set. I like to ask Mrs. Jones if she likes to barbecue. If they do, tell them it's going to be their best friend on the barbecue. If not, tell them it's nice to have it all the time and not need it, than to need it and not have it. Now, after you get to this, you have the table knives. But the thing is, most people just show the table knives. Do you guys forget that we also have stainless steel table knives and steak knives? I showed them all in a row at the same time. I sell more stainless steel table knives than anything. And when you sell stainless steel table knives in sets, it's an extra 300 to 400 CPO every time, and it's just amazing. It is boosted my average order so much, it's incredible. I always show them the table knife, the stainless steel table knife, and the steak knife, and I let them choose their favorite. Yes, I hype up the stainless steel table knife and the steak knife because they're awesome, but if they choose the table knife, don't make them feel bad. Whatever they choose, make them feel good because they're choosing the option that's best for them. When I get to showing sets, I don't just show the basic set and close on the basic set. I let them choose their favorite between the three most popular. And I'm going to tell you guys how I talk about those three sets. The first is the basic set. I like to say this set is more of a cutting set than a cooking set. But I don't want to trash the basic set because the basic set is awesome. I say, Mrs. Jones, now don't get me wrong. Of course you can get away with this set cooking. Tons of people do. But for people that cook a lot and often, this set might not have all the fun and different pieces some people like and want to use. It's why the most popular set as of lately has been the family set. Do your names and uses. This set's for families that cook 3 to 5 times a week. And the last set is the coolest freaking set we make. It's the set everybody wants. It's not the set everybody can afford. I'm not going to lie to you, Mrs. Jones. It's a pretty expensive set. It's just got really cool tools in it. Do a very quick names and uses if you want. No more than 1 to 2 lines per knife. They don't care about the actual knives too much. And give them a couple reasons to buy this set. Mrs. Jones, this is for people that love to cook, that have 2 cooks in the kitchen, for families that have 3 or more kids, that love to entertain, that want the biggest and baddest of everything. And after this, just ask them which set would their family get the most use and value out of over the next 5 to 25 years. Let them choose the set that's best for them. When you do this, you're selling less and helping more. People are more attached to the order. Now, I don't think I'm going to have time for handling objections because I want to get right to referrals. Because this is basically one of the most important, this is probably the most important thing and the biggest thing I wanted to cover today. Now, I like to actually don't even call these referrals. I call them introductions. It's a much more friendlier word. People are much more comfortable introducing you to people than referring you to them. So always call them introductions when you're talking to Mrs. Jones. Here is my referral approach. I like to handle the 3 most popular objections before they happen. They are, let me send you names later. I want to talk to my friends first, and I don't know anyone. The first thing that you got to do, there's 5 steps to this referral approach, is tell Mrs. Jones how important these introductions are to you. Mrs. Jones, this is where you can help me out more than anything in the freaking world. Step 2, tell her how many introductions you need for the year, for the campaign, and how many is the goal for her to hit. Mrs. Jones, I got to talk to 2,200 people this spring. So if I could just talk to your 100 of your closest friends, that'd be amazing, right? I'm kidding, of course, but 10 to 20 would help me so much with my goals. Step 3, handle the 3 objections. So while I'm giving my referral approach, guys, I'm on this slide. This is my referral Excel sheet. I am scrolling down this while I'm talking to Mrs. Jones about referrals. So she's seeing this 20 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10. And this goes on for like, I want to say like 1,000. I've gotten much better referrals as of lately. So you'll see the 20 and the 10. Now, if you guys get 1 or 2 on appointments, don't put this on this Google sheet. Put it on a different Google sheet. Only show Mrs. Jones the 10s and the 20s. Because again, it builds that social proof that everybody's giving 10 or 20 referrals. And a lot of people have recommended highlighting everything the same way and highlighting them different on a different Google document. And that's fine too. I don't mind having different highlights on this Google document as well. Now, the 3 objections is A, Mrs. Jones, I have this Google Doc here, so you don't have to send me a bunch of names and numbers later to make your life easier. To make your life easier. It's about them. The second thing is I'm guessing you probably want to talk to your friends first before I would talk to them. Of course. You got a text from Sally, right? Do you want to guess who has 2 thumbs and wrote that text? It was me. Of course. Because I would never want to talk to anyone that did not want to talk to me for your sake and for mine. That's why anybody you introduce me to, I'm never going to talk to without the okay from you. It's about them. The third thing, Mrs. Jones, I am not looking for people you think are gonna buy a bunch of knives from me. I'm not. I promise. There is 0 point predicting who's gonna buy a bunch of knives from me. It'd be pretty funny if you knew all your friends' knife buying habits. I promise you, I am just looking for people that are nice like you, that might take the time, and that are not serial killers. Very important, if that sounds good. It always makes Mrs. Jones laugh when I say that. That's the end of step 3. And again, all this will be emailed to you. I know I talk very fast, so if you want the exact verbiage that I am using, you can definitely get that later. The 4th step is ask for the first name. This is the most important one. Once you get the first name, it's so much easier to go from 1 to 5 than it is to go from 0 to 1. The line I like to use, Mrs. Jones, who is just the first person that comes to mind that might be nice enough to take a phone call. Boom. And shut up. Do not say a word after that. Wait for her to either give you a name or give you an objection. After that, after she gives you, hopefully she gives you the first name, then continue asking, all right, Ms. Jones, awesome. Who's next? They give you the next name. Awesome. Who's next? If you don't ask them who's next, they might just stop. They'll be like, yeah, that's good. That's fine. But if you keep asking them who's next, who's next, who's next, they'll keep giving you names until they actually, legitimately can't think of anyone else. And if they start to struggle, ask them some networking questions. Ask them who has the nicest house they know, the nicest kitchen, who's the best cook, who's the most popular person you know, who lives in this city, who sends their kids to this private school, who is a member of this country club. Do some research. Who loves to entertain or barbecue? Who will buy everything in the catalog? Who's the nicest neighbor, the nicest kid's friend's parent, the nicest coworker, sisters, brothers, cousins? If you ask enough questions, you can get to 10 every single time, especially with that social proof. Now, the last thing I want to say, I think I have about 30 seconds, I didn't get to it, is after you sell or you don't sell, always show everything. You can't sell what you don't show. Show the cookware, show the flatware. This is after you've closed on the knives or you didn't close on the knives. Ask permission. Mrs. Jones, because you're getting this today, you've unlocked a bunch of other discounts and specials. Can I show them to you? Most of the time, they're going to say yes and show them everything else. And if the knives don't work out for them, say, Mrs. Jones, looks like the knives didn't work out for you today. Let me show you the last couple things we make. 2 easy ways to get into that. And with that, that is all I got time for today. I wish I could give you guys more. I didn't even get to handling objections, but the virtual demo is a lot. But yeah, go kill it.